Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my new Joker 2 video. We got a new first look at some scenes that we're filming for the movie, so we'll break it down. There are a bunch of big comic book Easter eggs and Batman Easter eggs for the Batman comics. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I know there are a lot of questions because of James Gunn's big reboot of the DC Universe about how Batman figures into this universe because we saw a version of his origin story during the first movie. I will explain that during the video. But based on Easter eggs around the set, they say that it's 1983 during the events of Joker 2, meaning only about 2 years have gone by. He's only been in Arkham Asylum for about 2 years when he breaks out, or he is broken out. Because in these brand new scenes, you actually see 3 different Jokers, which will remind fans of the Batman comics of the 3 Jokers storyline. But what I actually think is going on here is you see 3 different Jokers, including Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck in his Joker makeup, running through the streets, but it looks like Arthur is running from the other 2 Jokers. You see Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck character dressed in the gray suit with the clown makeup still on, running from the other 2 Jokers. One of them dressed like a regular rioter, like in regular street clothes with the clown mask from the end of the first movie, and the other one dressed in his iconic red suit with the same look that he had at the end of the first movie. He runs through the streets. There are a couple cop cars that he runs past, the other one rider with the clown mask getting tripped up and falling in the street. There's a couple different theories about what's actually happening in this scene and what's going on with these other Jokers. The most likely scenario is that these are 2 copycats that are trying to help Arthur Fleck escape, and he's running from the police. That's why there are police in the middle of the street with the parked cars. The whole concept of there being copycats was a big thing after the first movie. Everybody had theories that there would be a copycat Joker, or at least one, during the events of Joker 2. His whole execution of Murray, the big call to action speech of his, was fully televised for everyone to see, making him a celebrity in their eyes, inspiring more copycats, and there were a bunch of people already wearing copycat clown masks to begin with. It's possible that you have a bunch of copycats here dressed as the different versions of these characters, like as regular riders with the clown mask, others dressed just like Arthur Fleck to help him disguise himself, and that's why he's got the clown makeup back on. And part of his followers here, people who idolize him, are trying to help him escape. The other big thing you may have seen in these scenes they're filming is that on the marquee here he runs underneath, there's the movie Bucket of Blood, which is a Roger Corman 1950s movie about someone who's down on their luck who accidentally kills a cat. Then people view this killing as this act of high art and start to praise him, and he starts to seek higher and higher levels of praise, doing crazier and crazier things. So it seems like they're implying that that's kind of what's happening during the movie. Like Arthur Fleck gets praised for his acts during the first movie, people worship him, and he starts to do crazier and crazier things, as do the mob of his followers. It's also possible that he's running from them too, because the whole idea is that Arthur doesn't do a good job of distinguishing between what's really happening and what he's imagining. He's meant to be a very unreliable narrator, so it's possible that some of this is happening inside his head, because there were rumors that a lot of the movie would take place inside Arkham Asylum. Like, are these 3 Jokers more of an id, ego, and super ego kind of metaphor, like a very Freudian thing, and this is all happening inside his head? The entire first movie was an exploration on mental health and the way that society treats people like that, people with issues. He imagined a lot of the events of the first movie, especially with his neighbor. You can let me know in the comments what you think is going on in this particular scene with these other Jokers, either chasing him or trying to help him run away from the police. But we do know that Harley Quinn is going to be in the movie played by Lady Gaga, and she will be a real character, like she won't just be completely imagined by Arthur Fleck's Joker character. But you may have seen in your feeds, Todd Phillips also celebrated Valentine's Day by posting the first look at Harley Quinn meeting Joker, and he's actually in his classic clown makeup. His caption just read, "Happy Valentine's Day," and in the scene, you can see Harley Quinn is just captivated with Joker, like she can't believe what's going on. She's so excited. She's just so taken with it all. She seems hypnotized by him, which is kind of their dynamic in the comics and in a lot of the movies. Obviously in the DCEU, since that Birds of Prey movie, they moved slightly past it, like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn isn't enraptured with the Joker as she once was. And their relationship in the comics goes back and forth, like it's meant to be the worst, most toxic relationship you could possibly imagine. They even covered that arc on Batman the Animated Series with her leaving the Joker for a little while and just going to have fun with Poison Ivy and briefly trying to turn good. In the picture, it looks like she's just kissed him, like she's kissed him because he's kind of flabbergasted by it, like, hey, this is pretty cool. And she's got his clown makeup smudged on her lips, which is usually the opposite way these things go. Usually it's the girl who smudges her makeup on the dude, but because we're talking about the Joker here who wears clown makeup, he wears way more makeup than Harley Quinn, even though she eventually does wear a version of that makeup too. It just seems like at this stage in their relationship, she hasn't got to that point yet. But you do notice they are both in plain clothes, which means she may have already helped him escape Arkham Asylum, allowing them to actually change clothes, and for him to actually be able to put the makeup back on. If the movie really does explore the idea of what happens with these copycats, like this group of Jokers that start to idealize him and they start to commit crimes too, it turns into more of an actual mob. Like there was a mob during the first movie, but they were mostly rioting against the local government. It's always possible that something happens by the events of the second movie where that turns into full-blown villainy. And if you don't remember the Three Jokers storyline from the Batman comics, the whole idea is it was playing on the possible different origin stories for the Joker, because the whole idea is that in the history of Batman comics, you've had a bunch of different origin stories for the Joker, and no one is meant to be the definitive one. The whole idea is that Batman is never meant to be sure whether or not the Joker is lying about his origin story.
You want to know how I got these scars?
Kind of like Heath Ledger's Joker, where he said, "Do you want to know how I get these scars?" And every time he tells his origin story, he tells a different story. That was also a play on the whole idea of the three Jokers. There was the criminal, the clown, and the comedian. The criminal was the pragmatic, philosophical, surprising, serious Joker. He's meant to be based on the Golden Age version of the Joker, and his main goal is to inspire Joe Chill to become a Joker clown-worthy clone that will eventually kill Batman's parents. The clown is based on the Bronze Age version of the Joker from those Batman comics and implies that he's the one that almost killed Jason Todd, Robin, turning him into Red Hood or causing him to become Red Hood eventually. The comedian is based on the more modern version of the Joker and implies that he's the one from Batman the Killing Joke that wound up paralyzing Barbara Gordon. And each different Joker just has a completely different ethos about why they are the Joker, why they became the Joker. So Bruce Wayne would still be a child living with Alfred, he'd be a little bit older, but still be a child, and there wouldn't be a bunch of Batman stuff happening yet. This is the list of every single DC movie and TV series that's coming up and where it fits into the canon, in the way that James Gunn said that they're treating the Joker movie and the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson is that they're meant to be complete Elseworlds projects outside of his DCU. They're calling it the DCU now. That means when they introduce the new version of Batman in the DCU, the older one who has Damian Wayne, if they do the Joker at some point in the DCU movies, it'll be a completely different Joker again, not the Barry Keoghan one and not the Joaquin Phoenix one. Let me know in the comments, who do you want them to cast? Is that version of the Joker? Remember, because it's an older Batman, it would also probably be a slightly older version of Joker as well. Willem Dafoe as the Joker would actually be pretty badass. There've been a couple big DC trailers that have dropped in the last week or so I'll do new videos for that. You can click here for my brand new Flash trailer video, and click here for all my Mandalorian Season 3 episode videos. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.